Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and or others. It's Mad Hatter here. How's everyone doing? I hope well. And we're back with a bit more gnomoria. I forget what we were doing last time. I think we were doing things, and or possibly stuff. I believe we were fortifying this particular area. I don't know if we have enough straw to actually manage to keep these yaks safe. However, let's go ahead and actually here, I'll just designate area. Remove designation. There we go. Now, what were we trying to do? We have some... It's been a bit since I played, so I may have forgotten the controls. But that's fine. Okay, so this is the Great Hall. We have the kitchen. We have the brewery. Let's see. I still need to set up the kitchen. No, I don't. Apparently not. I have water today, which is kind of nice. Unfortunately, this one doesn't come with a straw like my coffee normally does. And yes, the cup that I drink it out of does have a straw. It's one of those plastic coffee cups. I don't know why this one has a straw when normally you just sip at them. It's strange. I didn't know the coffee fucks up that straw, so I'm probably gonna have to throw that away before I throw the cup away. So that sucks. Anyway. Great Hall. Great. I realized after looking up some pictures of the actual game and the fortress that people build, this Great Hall is going to be rather shit. You can make some really fancy shit in this game. It's actually surprising how fancy you can get with this. So let's see. I don't think we've encountered our first goblin raid yet. The yaks are well taken care of. They have enough. We could actually build another straw bed if we wanted to. But I don't really care to do so. I do know that goblins are going to be an issue. But I also know that stone is going to take a bit to construct. I'm fairly sure that these are basically general construction, while the actual actually, yeah, we should probably get a workshop. So, stone workshop. Stone cutter, stone mason, stone carver. Is stone carver the one that I need for the thing? Also, someone alerted me to the reason you actually need stitch work done for bandages. They are apparently reverse stitch. Basically, they're double layered or multi-layered. I think they get a bit better if they're multi-layered, but I could be wrong. I do know that the general thought behind it is... Oh, hey. Wettened soil. Could make that an underground farm, but that's beside the point. So yeah, bandages. Bandages are actually fairly interesting, in my opinion, as cloth constructions, because you'd think they would have been one of the first things that were actually constructed. However, crude cloth is actually quite thick. So the bandages so the thin cloth material that most modern bandages are made with is actually a lot thinner than most people would think. And that's just for double layered bandages. Imagine some decently... Oh, monitor lizard. That's... I kinda want to kill it. We have bandages, so... It's dying of thirst. What's its health? Monitor lizard isn't good health, but it's dying of thirst, so... Let's actually keep an eye on it. The reason I say that is because if we can get an early kill on something, it'd actually help us with, it'd actually help us progress quite a bit. It might be leaving the map. I think it's leaving the map. Yeah, it left the map. If things are dying of hunger or thirst, then they leave the map of their own accord. I believe is how that works. In addition, I actually thought up some decent construction methods to use for this particular fortress. I also really dislike these double thick walls. These double thick walls were not a good decision. Just simply because it actually gives us less building room in the future. However, that being said, I think I'll probably focus on building up our stone industry. So, let's see. What all are we doing at the stonemason? Stone doors, basalt tables, basalt chairs. That's fine. Do we have any chisels? We do not. Knives. I don't think we need many knives. Furnace, trough, stone sword, stone hand axe, and stone hammer. Another thing. Goblins do not actually increase their attacks over time. They increase their attacks due to your wealth. And you tend to naturally build up wealth over time due to just generally producing a bunch of shit and waiting around for traders to come by to give you things. It's quite a large amount of water, actually. I drink a lot. It's strange. I don't know, someone will probably... one of you is probably doctor, or at least medically trained, I should say it that way. But, yeah, I'll probably get told off by them for drinking too much water. Because, just, small thing that a lot of people forget about. Drinking too many liquids is just as bad for you as drinking not enough. Actually, let's do terrain, replace floor with dirt clump. And I just want that one. I could also actually make this entrance look pretty cool, and I might do that. Just, I could build a ramp here temporarily, and then clear out this mountain a little bit. Not very much, mind you, just a little bit. And then build a proper entrance right here. Don't worry, I will update this wall. Just don't worry about that. I will make it look nice. I'm also thinking of building some external structures. Namely, possibly building up a raised platform out here for archers. The issue with that is that I need a tinker's table before I start doing that. And before I can even start doing that, I need to start getting just a lot of shit. What is pine? That pine crate doesn't have anything in it. That one does. What does it have in it? Just wood, I think? Yeah, probably. Just ridiculous amounts of wood. And... Okay, and what do I have here? I have butcher's table, stone carver, loom, distillery, and a kitchen. Then I have food and drink storage in here. Okay. Let's see. Then, in that case, I do actually need to get the wood industry set up. However, I would actually rather like it if I could... Let's see, build, workshop, wood. I'll just turn the... I tried to point out my screen. I tried to point out my screen to show it to you. But I'll try to build, like, how I have 2 stonemasons in here. I'll try to build 2 sawmills in here. And just keep these as the actual refining break in the chain outside. It would probably be better if we had external wood and stone storage. And I'll probably build that at some point, but for now, these rooms were the first that I needed to get done, is mainly why they're there, but I'll convert them into something else later. I could change the layout of these rooms to better suit our needs, but for now, I think I don't really need a second stonemason, but a second... I do know carpenters tend to get really heavily worked, but wood carver is not a thing that I really need. I would like to get a stone carver, though. Stone carvers allow me to get pillars, I believe, and I actually really want pillars for... I'm also doing that by hitting E. It may not be the default key binding, but it's the one I enjoy. I have the key binding set a little bit weird, just in case they're not... that is not what I wanted. There we go. That's what I wanted, and I would actually like to have a chisel made. Any block, it's fine. Blocks, strangely, because they're so easy to get a hold of, for most gnome fortresses, blocks actually have decent value, but they're not as valuable as wood, because a lot more actually goes into the gathering and processing of wood for gnomes. Which is strange. But then again, you only do business with other gnomes. You don't actually do business with other races in this game, just simply because the only two other races in this game are hostile. The Mants and the the goblins. Yes, I actually forgot the goblins there for a moment. Are hostile. The goblins are, of course. I think you can build good relations with them, but it's not the most advantageous of things to do. Just simply because it also makes other gnomes dislike you, I believe. Let's see, and there's that. The yaks are kind of useful. They're more useful later on when you can just... I'm just waiting for the strawberries to grow, and then I'll gather them, and this little spot will probably be repurposed into additional space for the wheat field. I know, it's a little bit janky, or I could just expand the cotton field. Cotton is actually rather valuable. I could do that. And I do want to get the yaks moved here eventually, but I already set the trough down, and it's going to be a pain to move. Which kind of sucks, but that's fine. The wooden doors, I'll probably have to rip them up to build flooring later. Not the wooden doors, the stone doors. Alright, there we go. We're getting this built. I think the stone carver is being built for pillars. Pillars allow gnomes to see through, and I'll probably put one there and there. This building is actually kind of not the best for pillars. Well, I need sturdy shit right there, so let's see. It should be fine. And I'm basically going to use pillars like windows, effectively. You can't walk through them, but you can see through them. It's not the best, but it's something. And do keep in mind that this structure is the most basic bitch structure that I can ever really accomplish. I also did look it up. The goblins will likely come in the first day of summer, if not a bit later. So there's the strawberries are getting harvested. I don't know why these aren't getting transferred over. Is it maybe because they're not getting sun? I don't know. It's kind of weird. Grass does not grow on clay, but it also grows randomly on dirt. So it might just be that these little dirt clumps have been getting really unlucky ticks. I mean, it does happen. Please for smooth dirt clump. I saw this clay, don't worry. And the reason I'm collecting clay is so that I can build clay bricks later on, basically. It's not much. You can also prospect clay, and it's a little bit better ratio. I haven't even showed you prospecting, never mind. Oh hey, this is a statue, pillar, statuette, pet rock. The statuette and the pet rock are mainly for selling. The statue vastly increases your value, and you can make metal statues later on. Solid gold statues, really worth a lot, but they really increase how much the goblins hate you. Alright, let's see. Basalt rock. How many do I want? We'll start with 2 and then go from there, I think. Let's see. And statuette is kind of useless. You can... just 2 of them. You can use it as a trade good, but we don't have a market yet. It would probably be a good idea to get a market set up at some point, just simply so that we can trade things away. But I would like to get a Great Hall established before we get a market. Reason for that being is that at the first of every month, or every season rather, you can get an event called Nomads. Nomads, and it is spelled like gnome, not normally. But what Nomads do is they're effectively extra colonists that arrived because they thought your shit looked good, basically. And it's unfortunate, but this Great Hall is... Let's go ahead and terrain, well, build. Furniture, doors. We're going to need a few doors. So build. There, and there. Probably going to also build a door here. Or well, it'd be here, wouldn't it? If we need to mirror this place due to needing extra stone or whatever food production. So I should put it. I think we have enough beds for now. I don't think we have very many gnomes. I think we only have 9 and we have 9 beds, so yeah. They don't all sleep at once, so they should be fine. That being said, the pillar is also going to be needed, so I would like to replace... I'd actually like to deconstruct. I don't know how long seasons last. Well, no, it's not going to be deconstruct, it's going to be mine wall, because it is a dirt wall. It would be deconstruct if they were a block wall. And I'll probably need to get a flooring down there. So let's go ahead and do that. Terrain. I don't mind building a floor, since it's only 1 bit of floor. Let's see, and... no, to be terrain, or, well... would it be... it might be. I don't know. Terrain, replace floor. There we go. Chiseled stone floor, and I would like it to be made out of lapis lazuli. It's probably gonna look kind of ugly, but shit happens, I'm afraid. Kinda. Okay, the strawberries are almost fully grown. It may take them a little bit though. They grow at random, not necessarily uniformly. I think that, well, no, it is uniformly. It's based on time, I believe. But because it's no longer a farm, it is no longer based on time, so it might be more RNG than it was before. I need to remember that it doesn't actually work like that. And we really need to get this pillar and flooring in before we hey, we got both pillars before the... What are you doing? Are you getting an apple? Or are you just... Okay, you're hauling some wood. We do need to get it in before the 1st of summer, otherwise we're going to be suffering from goblins. Just the case of the gobos. In addition, just a small thing, you might not want to... You can disable it in the options menu, but there is a unit in the goblins called the sapper, and what the sapper does is if you wall yourself in completely, or the goblins cannot reach you by the time that a few days have passed and they start dying of thirst and hunger, then the sapper will come with the next raid and it'll dig underground. It doesn't actually create a tunnel, it just creates an item that is effectively a sapper hole. And it then spawns the sapper hole inside your base somewhere. And the goblins can use that to traverse between their initial sapper hole and your base, effectively going around your wall. And the reason for that was because people had a tendency to... let's see, furniture. People had a tendency to... Where is it? Pillar. People had a tendency to just wall in for their entire base and not interact with enemies at all, and then just let them all die of thirst and hunger. and then harvest all of the enemies, basically. And I personally don't prefer that playstyle, but it's something. Some people do it. I don't care for it. That being said, I think the birches are actually fine. How many birches do we have? We have 49 out of 49, so we'll go ahead and fell trees. It'll start from the top down. So what it'll do is, if they're in the priority of this anyway, basically, if it is suspended, it will not work. They will first plant saplings, so if there's any free slots, they'll do that first. They will then cut clippings. They will then pick fruit if the cutting of clippings does not pick the fruit, which it will. And then they will cut down the tree, which is fine. As for this, these are apples. We do not need to cut the clippings. Cutting the clippings causes them to, unfortunately, take longer to regenerate their apples, which is not something I would enjoy. Really need that pillar in. Come on. Would you please put the pillar in? It would be very kind of you. We've got people hauling. I think that's because I have hauling set too high. We've also got people sleeping. If we had less people sleeping, then we would probably be better off. But unfortunately, they do not maintain a schedule yet, because we cannot set a schedule for them. I would actually really like it if they would build. Actually, I'll just set that. I'll just correct that. Let's see, woodsmith. We'll have the woodsmiths build because they mainly handle our trade stuff. We don't actually need. Well, they also handle the crates and the barrels, but we don't need that too much. But they have to build right under the workshop, so let's move that up. So that should get someone building, hopefully. Well, that being said, professions. I would like someone to build quickly because I tend to not make large building. I tend to make smaller building projects aside from the initial wall, just simply because it's not very nice to have your gnomes build too much. By the way, the goblins will prefer to attack the doors specifically because it is technically a way in. They cannot destroy walls, and I think that's to prevent them from destroying your beautiful structures. Also because they don't tend to bring pickaxes. Let's see. Agriculture, forage. There we go. Yeah, that'll get all those strawberries harvested. This is a rather large field, and it's going to be rather difficult to manage for a bit of time, but eventually they'll just get really fast at doing this job in particular. And they'll just completely locust through these farms. It might take a couple years, but I don't mind that. How far away is the nearest Goblin Kingdom? Candied Kingdom, Merchant City-States. Status friendly. Let's see, workshops. Ooh, we can actually. Huh. The loom does not have enough room. Oh, we can act. Oh. We can act. I didn't know that feature existed. That's actually really useful. Okay. In addition, I would actually really like it if we could get a great hall rather quickly. Okay, so the doors are in place, at the very least. Let's see. And I would like to designate an area as the Great Hall, which requires designate it as a dining room. This is going to be the Great Hall. Yes, indeed. And it's going to be there and there. The reason I'm doing it this way is because it's actually kind of annoying to cover this much distance. Okay. There we go. And what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to slowly work these floors into either wood or metal, but we don't have enough metal yet. I can actually rather easily get more metal when goblins start attacking us if they bring metal weaponry. Which actually used to be the main way to get metal. But then they had to nerf it because it was really easy to get iron. And iron is normally really annoying to process. It was also really easy to get steel. And steel is normally very annoying to process. So for wood trees, do I have this being felled? No, I do not. So for wood trees rather, I do not mind them being felled. They generally take a lot longer to actually get harvests out of, but it prevents you from needing to keep giant fucking groves outside of your buildings, or outside of your walls. And by groves, I don't mean the actual, like, groves, I mean planting trees. Which I might have to do. Alternatively, I could start building through here. I don't know what I'd put there, though. Possibly plant storage. Maybe some sort of industry. I don't know. I could also start doing, like, dorms off this way. And dorms are not a bad idea. I should probably start getting living quarters done. Because this is not cutting it. That being said, I actually do need a bone before I can start doing living quarters, and unfortunately the yaks have not been producing young, which is what kind of shit, to be entirely honest with you. Finally, someone's actually getting that done. That's nice. In addition, a training area would actually have been a good idea to get built. So I think I need training dummies for that. Let's see. Carpenter. Table drawers, cabinet, torch, workbench, loom, hilt, haft, bellows, training dummies. What do I need for this? I need plank. Oh, I thought that's a plant there for a minute. So, I think we need 2 of the same type, and let's just make them out of pine for now. And I'll just make 2 of them. Move to top, and move to top. The reason I would like those done is because a training grounds allows you to schedule your gnomes and when they sleep. Because they generally will need to sleep at a certain point in time when they're not training. It allows you to guarantee that they're going to at least be awake during a certain portion of the day. It also allows you to set guard posts that don't just have them stand there. The training area allows you to have military gnomes on standby, and for that I need military. Where's military? There's military training grounds. I need 2 training dummies. I think I built this big enough. Yes, I did. Hooray! Okay. And I'll probably replace the flooring eventually. Probably should have gotten that built a lot sooner so they could be training. The reason they needed to be training a lot sooner than... We may actually lose this fort because I didn't do that quickly enough. Shit. That'll suck. But RimWorld has updated, so if we lose the Gnomoria fortress, it'll just take us back to RimWorld, and there's already been some mods updating for it, so that'd be nice. Unfortunately, the kobolds won't make a return, but we can do a couple normal RimWorld colonies. That'll be kinda nice, I suppose. I'm making cheese out of yak milk. If we had emus... Man, if only we had chickens. I need to upgrade. Speaking of that, I really need to upgrade the coop in Stardew Valley. And I'll probably have episodes, if not tomorrow, then the day after tomorrow of Stardew Valley. But, I really actually enjoy Gnomoria. It's chill in a similar manner to Stardew Valley in that it is... Why is no one building stuff here? Is it because the woodsmiths are all... Yeah, the woodsmiths are probably all busy handling the birch groves. Which is... See... See now... Now that I put it like that, let's actually get that moved up to priority. To get people focused on making stuff in here, rather than making planks. Planks are very useful, don't get me wrong, they're your required resource to get things done in this structure. However, the things from this structure are actually more useful. And I'm watching this because I don't want any goblins to just surprise us, because they are probably here. Probably somewhere. I should probably do a once over. By the way, be careful about getting to a certain amount of food. I think once you get to 1,000 food, you start encountering mants. Or, it's either 1,000 or 500, something like that. And by the way, once goblins show up on the map, they're going to make a beeline for... This was actually a decent place to build as well, just because it's free stone from here. Oh wow, we're actually... Whew, that was real close. Because we could actually tunnel up and make that a second entrance. Then start tunneling back down and slowly working through. So Kingdom, have the goblins come online yet? No, they haven't. You can send emissaries, emissaries. I was trying to say ambassador and emissary at the same time. You can send emissaries to various places. You can, surprisingly enough, the goblins don't actually attack your ambassador because it's a diplomatic mission. They apparently have good enough sense of civilized things that they just know better than to attack diplomats. So, you know, that's something. I mean, really? So yeah, let's see. These guys are getting built. You should be building the thing. I just really need the wooden dummy done quickly. Or the wooden dummies done quickly. So that we can get the training grounds built, because the training grounds is very important. And I'll bump this back down. Because again, we do need the planks. Oh, god damn it. Why? Why do you do this to me? Okay, someone else is building it. Saving. I think the goblins have arrived. Yeah. Okay. Sun has risen. Saving. And clay crevasse. And yes, I'm doing another once over. And no, that is not lag. It's just very jerky with how you move when you're this zoomed out. Okay. And there we go. So we should be fine. We have enough fodder because the wheat is already growing just fine. Let's see. Pine trees are a thing that needs to be handled. We have infinite drink from here. Aha! 3 nomads have arrived. So that's 3 of them. Let's take a look at them. Assign. They will automatically have the job of nomad, sword, brawling, hammer, and oh good lord, we should really get you equipped with a sword. Shield, armor, hammer, brawling, fighting. We should really get you equipped with a hammer. I should probably go through and make some militia type stuff. Hammer, shield, armor, crossbow, axe. You're just like a general good man's. See, for woodsmith, you are not the best, to be entirely honest. You're not really the best at anything. Plantsmith. You would make a decent plantsmith, but you would actually make a decent stonesmith or woodsmith. You'd struggle a little bit with woodsmith, so you do lean more towards... Actually, saying that, you would make a better plantsmith. Let's see. You would definitely make a better woodsmith. Okay, then. Because I think woodsmith, your axe skill actually plays into woodsmith. Or not woodsmith, but woodcutting. So carpentry, you are actually decent at most everything. Especially caretaking and medical stuff. So you would make a pretty good doctor. Under normal conditions, caretaking, construction. Brewing, you would make another decent plantsmith. You would also make a really good woodsmith. Just in, like, they don't have woodcutting up super high like Jin does. Jin being this fine fellow. But they do have their skills spread a bit better. I do need another stonesmith. And they can get their stone carving up just fine. Stone carving is actually not a very important skill. But the issue is that stonesmith is generally just more important than woodsmith. So we'll take a look and see. So woodsmith, mining, mason. You are just really good. You have really good carpentry. You have amazing woodcutting for a nomad. You have good horticulture, good wood carving. Your medic is kind of lackluster. Your caretaking, construction, hauling, Of your mining is, it's decent. It's a thing. It's better than your medic. Masonry, stone carving, and horticulture are kind of shit, though. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but we did not get additional stonesmiths. So we might be doing more with wood with this colony, which should kind of suck. That's fine. Okay, so squads. We got 3 nomads there, but we only have 1 position. We only have 2 positions, rather. And let us... Jesus Christ, that sword skill, though. It's really nice. Let's get the new woodsmith. I should probably get him a sword at some point. Fighting... Brawling, you are kind of lackluster. You have decent gun skill, though. You are actually pretty good. Shield. She would make a decent shield bearer later on in life. Let's see, the spooned weeds and the angered mites. I think now is a time for a new squad. So let us do the formation of monks. And just stick the new person in here. And let's see, the angered mites. They're going to want the monks thing because we do not actually have the weapons needed to make it profitable for them to be doing that. Spooned weeds, angered mites, and fruity dresses. Heh. Now this is not a guard position, it is a gate house. That's actually capitalized the H there. Having to type really awkwardly. And yeah, that looks okay. It should be fine to train in there. Generally how it's going to work is they're all going to gather together and train during those specific times. And I think military does actually, like, it is Yeah, it looks like military does force them into it. They cannot not do it, basically. In addition... Yeah. So how it works is they will fight indefinitely. And also, in addition... Let's see, terrain build, let's designate area as a stockpile. What I'm doing right now is I am making this just for one specific thing. And it's going to be priority 1. This is going to be for our medicine tab. Craft. Soil, stone, wood, coal, silica, metal, gem, cloth. Is it in fiber, bolt of cloth, string, bandage? This is going to be for bandages. The reason for that is bandages heal all wounds that your gnomes can acquire that are not life-threatening or the removal of limbs. Which is useful. It's very useful, actually. And I need to actually start building crates there. So, furniture, dresser, cabinet, statue, torch, wall, torch, pillar, rail fence, picket fence, troughs, corner pole, alarm bell. Where are the storage? Crates. The reason I'm building crates here is because we need a lot of bandages to be in here. And crates store a lot of things. So yeah, they basically just fight the entire time that they're there, which is going to slow down our crafting by a fair bit. However, I don't mind slower crafting if our fortress continues to be in existence. And that's the main point of having military training. And I know we don't have weapons, we don't have armor, but what we do have are our fists and time. So unfortunately, we're just going to have to make use of that. And don't worry about training monk gnomes, because these guys, you can't waste military training. There's a skill called fighting, which carries over in all forms of combat. And it basically increases their accuracy. It also increases... Thank you. Someone is hauling wood. It increases their accuracy, and it increases their dodge chance. What this means is, with any weapon... There's a black bear. Let's not fuck with the bear, please. Thank you. Actually. Bear. Bear, race bear, gender female, health thirsty. It'd be nice if I could kill it. I probably should have gone after the monitor lizard earlier, but the monitor lizard is... They don't fuck with monitor lizards. That being said, this has been Rabbit, and this has been gnomoria. I hope you all do well, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.